Ariana brought Dan in and out when she picked him up from the airport. I hope this post is allowed even though Dan isn't a cast member, because I thought it was a really sweet IG story. Ariana, without makeup but glowing and happy, bringing food for Dan at the airport. It's so adorable how they do these small acts of service for each other. Even if their relationship isn't forever, they complement each other well and seem to be the opposite of toxic. I don't remember seeing her this happy with Tom. I love this for her. Also, if you watch the old seasons, it's almost like she went from one abusive relationship to another, even though the one with Sandoval was less obviously abusive. There are so many instances of him flipping out and screaming at someone while she sits there, mute and miserable. I think the shock of Sandoval might have jolted her out of her lethargy and made her realize she deserves something much better. Ariana is amazing. It broke my heart to see how sad she looked at some of the things said during the reunion. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Spill Chronicles. It's me, Ramona here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. On the other hand, we have an awning now. It looks fantastic. The sign and light above it fit perfectly. It's giving off major rom-com vibes in the best way. Also, I really hope Rihanna comes to the grand opening. Just putting that out there. It's a shame they had to get rid of their patio, so definitely no patio then. It's such a bummer because it would have been great aesthetically and for accommodating more customers, maybe someday. I feel like Katie hinted that permits were delaying the patio among other things. So maybe they're just moving forward with the opening and holding off on it until everything is sorted out. The previous business there obviously had a patio, so I don't see why they wouldn't be able to have one. Maybe they can add an exit gate or walkway to it later. It's also sad that Lala tried to tear down two women trying to start a business when they've both supported her ventures. Remember the makeup line launch party one season and Katie modeling Lala's robes in season 10? Katie and Ariana didn't publicly criticize Lala's business ventures, but Lala is trying to undermine their business. For what reason? Lala often uses her child as a shield in the group, as if having a child gives her the right to talk poorly and try to ruin others' ventures. Yet she tries to shut others down when they point out her hypocrisy. I hope SFH does extremely well and expands into other product lines. Moreover, Cecily Strong expressed admiration for Katie on WWHL, sharing her support amidst negative online comments. She praised Katie for enduring criticism and highlighted Tom Sandoval's treatment of her, suggesting it was worse than what he directed at Ariana. Throughout Cecily's remarks, Andy's expressions ranged from subdued surprise to astonishment. It seems Andy is perplexed by Katie and Ariana's current popularity, perhaps not fully grasping it, which is amusing to observe. His reactions are akin to those of disapproval or frustration when other celebrities express pro-Ariana/Katie and anti-Sandoval sentiments, hinting at a belief that this season didn't go as planned. One notable critic of Katie and Ariana was Meghan McCain, whose opinions, while irrelevant, align predictably with her other contentious views. She appears to align with Sheena and Lala, exuding a stance that is arguably anti-women except when it concerns themselves or their privileges. Personally, I've grown to appreciate Katie over recent seasons. Initially, I found her harsh, but now I see her as someone with strong principles and admire her steadfastness. It's disheartening how the men on the show often target her unfairly, using her as a scapegoat when they're at a loss for words. I hope positive comments like Cecily's boost Katie's spirits, as she seems to endure the most unwarranted criticism from both the cast and viewers alike. Additionally, she looks fantastic and might even become my new girl crush. Additionally, I found Lisa's comment about Schwartz and Lala to be quite uncomfortable. Given the history among the cast, it was rather odd for LVP to express a desire to see Schwartz and LFU together. Did anyone else find that incredibly strange? The entire segment made me uneasy, especially with Schwartz's ex-wife present, while discussing a potential romantic interest involving her friend. Quoting Michael Scott from The Office, Lisa Vanderpump remarked, "I feel like all my kids grew up, and then they married each other. It's every parent's dream." On WHL, LVP made a similar suggestive comment about Andy and Gordon Ramsay, attempting to come across as playful and flirtatious, but sounding more like a quirky, tipsy aunt. During the show, she also seemed to try and bait Ariana regarding her living situation. Twice she asked if Ariana had moved out and if she was living with Dan in NI, seemingly fishing for information that might benefit Tom in an ongoing lawsuit. Ariana handled it smartly and shut down those insinuations. Am I reading too much into this? It all came off as rather tasteless. Lala's remark about destroying him was equally baffling. Who does she think she is? She seems to believe her shock value and bold statements make her intriguing, but without a solid storyline, her increasingly unconventional appearance, and her loud persona, she comes across as rather mundane. Frankly, the show might be better off without her. However, I completely understand Katie and Ariana's frustration with city zoning issues. Lisa's dismissal of their struggles, saying zoning approvals shouldn't take a year, is really misleading. As someone who operates several restaurants myself, I can attest that dealing with zoning regulations can be incredibly challenging. For instance, I've been in a 2-year battle just to get outdoor live music approved, something we've had for 20 years. Zoning officials often get caught up in nitpicking over details like bike racks, which can cause significant delays. The way Lisa addressed this topic seemed insincere. It appears Lala might have shared Katie's frustrations with Lisa and possibly production, which is why Lisa brought up the girls' disagreement over Ariana's absence. On a separate note, I can't help but think about Lisa's attitude towards the TomTom deal, where she was annoyed by the boys' request for a written agreement. It's concerning to hear a business person dismiss the importance of written agreements, especially if it suggests a potential intention to exploit others. Personally, I suspect it was Penny who vented to Lisa and implicated the girls for the delays, given Lisa's detailed knowledge of the specific issues like needing rollers. Let's address the elephant in the room. Lisa's ease with venue openings is likely due to her resources and connections. Unlike others starting out with limited means, Lisa can accelerate processes or avoid problems altogether with her financial advantages. It's unfair for Lisa to downplay the challenges faced by Katie and Ariana. Even as a wealthy and experienced restaurateur, Lisa joked about using sexual favors to expedite permits during one of her restaurant openings. If Lisa encountered difficulties despite her advantages, it's entirely plausible that newcomers without her resources would face even greater obstacles. Lisa's comments about the little bit of concrete show a lack of understanding and empathy. ADA compliance issues are significant and can severely impact projects, including multi-million-dollar ventures like roadway development. The process involves extensive reviews, approvals, and coordination with various agencies, which can cause substantial delays. The way Lisa spoke to Katie and Ariana was disrespectful and bitter. She seemed more interested in siding with Penny, who appears to have taken advantage of them, rather than understanding the genuine challenges they faced. On the other hand, the producers and Lala seem keen on orchestrating staged conflicts based on off-camera conversations, yet they avoid addressing Sandoval's on-camera outburst directed at Terry Maloney. Surprisingly, the footage remains unaired and unmentioned, raising doubts about the show's commitment to authenticity. I hope that someday this footage sees the light of day, as the effort to shield Tom undermines the quality of the show. Katie owes Sandoval nothing, and her friends should stand by her, whether on the show or not. #TeamKatie. Despite having platforms like Peacock where they could share uncensored footage, they chose not to air the confrontation from last season, all in the interest of protecting their favored cast member. During the reunion, they continued to shield Sandoval by downplaying the New York Times article. Lala was practically feeding him the lines of the lie he was supposed to tell. Anyone who actually read the article knows that he made inappropriate comparisons, likening himself to the cultural impact of George Floyd and the OJ trial. Additionally, upon revisiting the Season 10 reunion, I was surprised by how strongly Lala confronted Sandoval. She labeled him as dangerous and a narcissist, raising her voice and staunchly defending Ariana. It's remarkable that just 2 months later, Lala has completely shifted her stance, suggesting we should give Sandoval a chance and insisting he's not a terrible person, despite previously condemning him so vehemently. This leads me to consider two possibilities. Lala genuinely believed Sandoval was awful and was more focused on maintaining the show's success and meeting the producers' expectations. Lala may not have been deeply affected by Sandoval's actions, but at the reunion, she seized the opportunity to redirect attention towards herself and away from Ariana. By attacking Sandoval aggressively, she hoped to rally support from the audience, possibly out of jealousy when Ariana received more attention and opportunities. Lala's emotional outburst towards Sandoval could also be linked to her own experiences of being cheated on by Rand. She tends to seek the spotlight and importance in the moment, but may have later felt overshadowed by Ariana's success and financial gains, which turned her support into envy. It's possible that production pressured them into aligning with Sandoval or risk losing their jobs or renewal for the show. Instead of standing firm like Katie, they chose to comply, resulting in a shift towards a more scripted and less authentic approach. Although Sheena might not have needed threats, she was likely already planning her path to redeem herself regarding Sandoval. It's unlikely that production would have omitted them from the fallout after Sandoval's incident. If the group had collectively opposed production's influence over their interactions with Sandoval, it's doubtful that they would have been replaced, leading to a season focusing solely on the Toms and Lisa. Lala and Sheena's jealousy towards Ariana may have overridden their initial sentiments towards Tom, potentially driven by an underlying desire to undermine her. On the other hand, it was concerning during the after show when they dedicated a segment to speculating whether Lala and Schwartz would make a good match. This discussion seems highly inappropriate and disrespectful, especially considering Katie's feelings. The casualness with which they entertained the idea of Lala and Schwartz being together shows a lack of regard for the emotional impact on Katie. I recall Lala making the comment to Katie in a past season, around 5 or 6, about potentially hooking up with Schwartz if Tom and Katie were to break up. This kind of talk is not something friends or coworkers should engage in lightly. It's distasteful and disrespectful. Additionally, Lala openly discussed on her podcast last summer that she finds Schwartz attractive and would sleep with him, alongside other provocative remarks in a fuck, marry, kill game. Even then, this kind of talk crosses boundaries and lacks sensitivity, especially considering their social circle. Schwartz's behavior in the past season was troubling, particularly when he went on a disrespectful tirade against Lala, mocking her appearance and motherhood. His attitude toward women, including his own wife, reflects deep-seated issues that likely require professional therapy. It's unlikely he'll be a positive influence in anyone's life until he addresses these underlying issues, though I'm not optimistic about his willingness to seek help. Moreover, Lala's behavior towards Katie, particularly her comments about motherhood and dismissing Katie's business endeavors, comes across as not just mean, but downright cruel. It's especially hurtful considering Katie's past struggles with fertility and her journey toward finding fulfillment through her business ventures. In Season 9, Katie candidly shared her fertility challenges and the emotional toll of watching her friends start families while she and Schwartz faced difficulties. Her decision to pursue business ventures like SH with Ariana was a way for her to channel her energy and passion into something meaningful. Despite the heartbreak of her fertility struggles, Katie remains determined and focused on building something she can be proud of. Lala's repeated references to motherhood as a way to belittle Katie's accomplishments and her dismissive attitude towards SAA are disrespectful and insensitive. It's particularly ironic given Lala's own claims about having an empire, which seem questionable compared to Katie's genuine entrepreneurial efforts. I share your anticipation for SAA's opening and believe Katie and Ariana will excel. It's disappointing that Lala relies too heavily on the parent card in arguments, as being a parent doesn't justify hurtful behavior or dismissive attitudes towards others. Katie's growth and resilience are admirable, especially in light of Schwartz's apparent disregard for her feelings. While Lala seems fixated on undermining Katie, it's evident that Katie's evolution and success are what truly matter. There does appear to be a distinct jealousy from Lala towards Katie, which manifests in a particularly cruel manner. Despite Lala's attempts to demean Katie, it's clear that Katie's determination and growth are qualities worth celebrating and supporting. Additionally, if anyone is undermining the show, it's Lala. I've been a reality TV enthusiast for a long time, and I typically appreciate when shows break the fourth wall because it adds a new dimension. However, Lala's approach is ruining things, especially evident during the reunion. While her outburst at the funnel party struck me as unhinged and hypocritical, I initially didn't mind the fourth wall break. But her subsequent monologue, claiming Tom and Ariana's relationship was always fake and suggesting she's the sole truth teller, feels disingenuous. Lala strategically admits to one lie to gain trust while insinuating she's genuine about everything else. Moreover, her commentary during the reunion about her castmates living in the comment section, and her attempt to vilify Katie for not joining in the Ariana takedown demanded by producers strips away the fun and authenticity of the show. Lala seems to want us to view her as the show's new star, a sober voice of reason standing up against Ariana's supposed ego. In reality, she's revealing her enthusiastic participation in engineering a fan favorite's downfall and her resentment toward Ariana's opportunities and support. She should have been upfront about her jealousy and addressed it honestly instead of manufacturing drama behind the scenes. Lala's mixed messages about caring for the audience's opinion and starting conflict without reason resemble Rinna from RHOBH, but her behavior isn't endearing her to fans. If she wants to discuss how fans can be aggressive bullies on her podcast while stirring up drama on TV, she must accept the consequences, including a loss of likability. I adore this show and have watched it for years, but if I can't believe in the relationships portrayed, romantic, friendly, or otherwise, what's the point? Imperfections like Sandoval's whining or Sheena's self-centeredness are forgivable, but Lala's revelations about the show's fabrication and blaming fans for discussing it online undermine the very essence of what made the show enjoyable. Lala's cozy relationship with producers and her attempts to position herself as the show's beacon of truth, contrasting Tom and Ariana's circle with bobbleheads, is ironic given her podcast's echo chamber of agreement. Katie's refusal to partake in the Ariana takedown doesn't make her fake, as Lala claims. Ultimately, I doubt a show centered solely around Lala would be watchable. Her actions and attitude are jeopardizing the authenticity and appeal of the show that many of us have cherished for years. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.